Hello and welcome to Revsportz, and we are here with certain developments on Indian football. Finally, after a long mishap of 6-7 months, we are finally getting somewhere. The league is about to start on 14 February, and finally we have an indirect slot for the AFC as declared by the All India Football Federation, but the entire scenario is still not clear to us. Devashishda, could you please explain what's the current scenario with this indirect AFC slot?
Yeah, it's a huge sigh of relief for the clubs, for the ISL clubs I'm talking about, because the AFC, in a correspondence between the AIFF and the AFC has finally decided to give an indirect slot to All India Football Federation, which means that in the clubs, whichever clubs wins the ISL, the truncated ISL this season will play the qualifiers for the ACL too. So, which previously it used to be a direct slot, but for this season particularly, given that it won't be a full season because it will be a truncated season, because as you know, the minimum matches for a AFC slot is 24 matches. The clubs needs to play total number of 24 matches, which is not the case, because the total number of matches that will be played in ISL this season is 91. So, but it is a kind of an exemption, because the AIFF has requested the Asian Football Confederation, and the AFC has said today that yes, the ISL champions will get a slot, but it will be an indirect slot. As we all know, FC Goa has already got a slot by way of winning the Super Cup. So whichever teams win the ISL this season, the truncated version will get an indirect slot of AFC.
But in this whole scenario, the global picture for Indian football has gone down way below, right? What do you think that a country with this much human capital, with so many players, we are having to resort to a gift from the AFC that here take this what slot?
Indirect slot of ACL2.
Indirect slot for ACL2, and we used to have a permanent slot, but in the whole mishap, the overall scenario of Indian football has gone down.
Yeah, Rohan, much more than that, the image of All India Football Federation has taken a beating. Means in the last 6 months, obviously, there has been too much drama, yet we do not know when the ISL 2025-26 fixture is going to come out. Yesterday, the clubs did meet virtually, and it was anticipated that the fixtures might come out yesterday, but it was not the case. And once again, it's a game of pure power, means who will keep the power with themselves. And in this case, the All India Football Federation, yes, the ISL is owned and governed by the federation, and the clubs also accepted it. But the veto power, means when it comes to veto power, means even for any major decision, Rohan, the AIFF will enjoy the veto power. In this case, in the governing council, they have two AIFF members, the president and the vice president. They can enjoy the veto power, and they can actually, even if the majority of the clubs decided to be on the same page and decide something, it might not be the case, because they need for the decision to get ratified, you need the vote of the federation president and the vice president.
And in this whole scenario, do you think other than FSDL, anyone would come to, because we still don't have any idea of the commercial rights, right? Who might be the new commercial rights holder? So what do you think? Do you see we have in the long term 20 years deal that we are yet to receive, yet to see? How do you see the coming months for Indian football?
Yeah, you made it a very valid point, Rohan. I think whoever comes as a commercial partner, means although they will have a representation of the in the governing council. Means if I'm not wrong, there will be two from the representative from the commercial partner and one from broadcast partner. But even then, means if you look at the composition of the governing council, it is what it says. It says every club will have representation. In this case, 14 clubs, so 14 members. It's a committee of 22 members, so 14 from the clubs, 3 from commercial and broadcast partners. So it constitutes to 17. 2 independent members, and obviously the remaining will be from the AIFF. In this case, the president, the vice president, and the treasurer. So that constitutes a 22-member committee. So even if the committee decides on something, or rather the commercial partner and the clubs come on the same page and decides on something, it cannot get ratified until and unless AIFF president and the vice president give their vote, or if they enjoy their veto power and object it, then it might not get ratified. So I think that is where the concern with the clubs remain. Means obviously, and also if you look at the management committee, also there also it is the federation president, it is a federation secretary who will enjoy a veto power. So clearly the clubs,
the power remains with the AIFF.
absolutely power remains with the AIFF. Previously it used to be FSDL who used to do all the talking, but the problem with the clubs is that they are paying more, they are investing more in getting this league restarted, but despite that they are having no say when it comes to decision making.
Yeah, and that's I think yes. In an ideal scenario, the power has to be with the federation, but if you see the Indian football scenario right now, it's not an ideal scenario. So I think we do have some bumpy road ahead as to, yes, this year the league will be in truncated manner. We will have an indirect slot for AFC, but that's not the exact scenario that we will be seeing going forward. We will be having a 20 years deal coming up soon in March, I think, right?
Yes.
In March, and that will decide what will be the road for Indian football ahead, and those will be some important decisions to be made, and yet we do not have any clue who might be the potential commercial rights holder. So just to sum up, what is the we have an indirect slot for AFC, and we still don't have any idea of the ISL fixtures.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is where it stands. Means at least it's a huge sigh of relief, or I would say that it's a very good news for the clubs, because after all, why are they playing this ISL if they don't have an AFC slot?
Yeah.
Means, so I think it is though an indirect slot, because whichever clubs win the ISL will get an indirect slot for the ACL 2 qualifier. Previously, Mohun Bagan being the ISL and league and still winner, they got a direct slot, but we all know Mohun Bagan did not travel to Iran to participate for some other reasons, which we do not want to get into it in this video. But yes, it's definitely that's something very good news, positive news, I would say, that the Indian clubs getting an AFC slot.
That's all for now in this video. We just hope that in March we do have a clear-cut idea of what's going to be Indian football for the next 20 years, and we hope that it's whatever happens, it's best for the entire country's football scenario. That's all for now. Thanking you. Keep following this page, because there will be a lot more updates on the Bangladesh issue, on the Under-19 World Cup in Indian football, and much more. The India Open is also going on in New Delhi. So a lot more coming up in your way. That's me, Rohan, and Debasis signing off right now. Thank you so much.